Michael Chandler can't wait to face Paddy Pimblett and shares why he accepted the fight against the Scouse prospect. Chandler's UFC career is an interesting one to judge. He has lost most of his fights since getting a lot of attention after his first-round knockout of Dan Hooker in his debut. But even in defeats, he managed to create a high degree of danger for his opponents, coming close to finishing them and generally making any fight he's involved in a fan-favorite clash. That's the primary reason he managed to build a good relationship with Dana and the brass and declared himself a company man. The Pimblett fight might become a crossroads moment for the former title challenger though. Mike has lost 4 out of his last 5 fights, and while Pimblett is an undefeated prospect with some good potential to become an elite lightweight, this matchup is a step down in the level of competition for him. If he loses, it could easily become a case of Paddy using him as a stepping stone, pushing him down the rankings outside of the top 10. But that's not what Chandler is planning. Here's what he had to say about it.
I mean, there's a big fight. No matter which way you look at it, man, it's a big fight, and it's the life cycle of a fighter. I will, tip my hat to Dustin Poirier. He fought Benoit Saint Denis when not very many people knew him, right? Justin Gaethje fought Rafael Fiziev. I see it often on the social media webs. Everybody's like, man, you're fighting everybody in the top 3, top 2, top 5. You need to go fight a young, hungry up-and-comer. Well, here you go, boys and girls. Here's my opportunity. Here's his opportunity. This is Paddy's opportunity to get inside the top 10. This is my opportunity to show you that there are different levels to this sport. I have still, to this day, you can talk about my record, you can talk about losses, you can talk about how it's all went down, my run in the UFC thus far, but I have done nothing but fight first ballot Hall of Famers, former champions. Every single loss that I have has been to one of those guys. And when I don't fight one of those guys, knockout of Dan Hooker in 2.5 minutes, that brutal KO of Tony Ferguson, which was KO of the year. Something spectacular happens when my back is up against the wall.
Sean Brady talks about his upcoming London headliner against Leon Edwards. After some necessary reshuffling of matchups at the top of the welterweight division, the British crowd got a pretty decent fight night main event. The last loss on both of their records came by the hands of Belal Muhammad. The difference is, Brady won 2 fights after his defeat to the current champion, whereas Leon hasn't fought since losing his title to Belal. The former champion will try to get back on track and go on another title run, using the Brady fight as the first step to fast-track himself back to challenging for the belt. Brady, on the other hand, had an impressive winning streak going, was undefeated, and looked at as a potential future champion before getting stopped by Muhammad 2 fights ago. His goals are certainly similar to Leon's, only in his case the title hunt would be the first-time experience, as opposed to the former champ. During his conversation with Michael Bisping and Paul Felder, Brady commented on the Edwards fight.
Kamaru, 3 times. Belal, he's been getting ready he fought RDA, but RDA was a 55er, so he's been getting ready for grapplers his whole career. But at the end of the day, this is mixed martial arts. The fight does start on the feet it's not like I get to start in side control. So
yeah.
They get to we get to start on the feet, and then it's my job to get it to where I want. But no, I like Leon. He's kind of like me. He's he doesn't talk a lot of shit. He's not on social media doing all these things. I respect him. I'm sure he has respect for me, and yeah, it's going to be a great fight. I'm looking forward to my second main event. I get to fly across the country and go do it.
Magomed Ankalaev is getting ready for his attempt to dethrone Alex Pereira soon. The question is, will this in fact be Pereira's toughest challenge in the octagon so far, or not really? Magomed made some waves on social media when he stated that he's not going to wrestle in their fight, and instead will just strike with the champion and defeat him in his own game. While most didn't perceive these comments by Ankalaev as his actual intention in his first title shot opportunity against the most dangerous striker in the sport right now, it still became a topic of discussion, and considering Ankalaev's own striking skills, him trying to stand with Pereira at least for a considerable amount of time during their fight isn't out of the realm of possibility. But it's safe to say it's reasonable to assume that he in fact will try to grapple in this fight, because that's the area where his only advantage lies. Less than a week before the bout, he was visited by Russian reporters at his gym, where he could be seen grappling with the UFC heavyweight Alexander Volkov. He then briefly spoke with the reporters, who asked about his mauling sessions with Volkov, the upcoming fight with Pereira, and how he feels going into his title fight. The most interesting part of the interview came when a reporter asked Ankalaev whether he will keep his word and just strike with Alex Pereira, or it was just a lie. Here's what Magomed had to say.
Многие считают, что ты заберешь этот бой за счет борьбы, но ты сам говорил, что хочешь побороть его в стойке. Все-таки это было... Ты лукавил или ты реально просто хочешь его перебить?
Да, тогда мы просили бой, когда начали говорить, там будет борьба или там что-то, тогда мы говорили, мы можем биться с ним в стойке, у нас нету проблем биться в стойке. Это, может быть, для меня чуть-чуть усложнит этот бой, чтобы удосрочить его. А так, я не вижу такого, чтобы переоценивать Перейру, я не вижу в нем такого сверхъестественного что-то. Можно сказать, опасность только в левом хуке.
Robert Whittaker previews Dricus du Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev and predicts how the fight will go. The former middleweight champ has faced both of them. He lost to both via finish as well, suffering a knockout to DDP and a submission defeat to Chimaev. So he's certainly one of the most qualified people to share assessments about the matchup between the two of the best in the division, who have proven to be unsolvable puzzles to everybody they have faced. Rob's been getting more involved with commentary and fight breakdowns recently, perhaps slowly transitioning from active competition to a role of an analyst, like many UFC fighters in his position have done. When he was asked to share his thoughts on du Plessis versus Chimaev in a recent interview, Whittaker explained why he thinks Chimaev's only realistic path to victory in this fight is an early finish, forced by grappling exchanges. After that, the Reaper says that DDP will most likely turn the bout into a rough contest in which his endurance is going to secure him a victory.
I can't see anyone really stopping Chimaev's takedowns. Like, his takedowns are so hard to stop, so hard to stop. And his wrestling and his grappling is just, yeah, it's super high level. I guess the question always comes in is like, can DDP drag it into those later rounds? Can he get through the first wrestling grappling exchanges and then start to capitalize on his just like persistence, like doggedness to go away? Because honestly, if Chimaev can't get DDP out of there, DDP wins. Like DDP wins almost every fight. You can't get rid of him, right? Because he's like mold, dude. He will not go away. Hey, like, honestly, dude, he's not going anywhere. He'll just wear you down and belt you up until he wins. So I guess that's really the only thing that I'm thinking about. Like, but I do know that Chimaev in that first round is so hard to stop.